What's up, Indies? Welcome to IndiesLIVE on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. How's everybody doing today? I'm just going through the chat to see who's here. Looks like Kevin's here. Kev, what's up, man? I'm happy you're here too. Jeff, the first Wednesday evening I've been free in 6 months. Hey, man, I'm glad to have you here. Good stuff. Greg, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. Looks like we've got some comments here in the comments section of the page, so I'm stoked to answer the questions that you guys have going on, talk about what you're working on. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Give me a what's up if you can. Hopefully everything is working swimmingly here. Looks like we've got some questions from Carol, from Robert, and from Greg. Good stuff. If you guys have any questions as we're going through things, or if something comes to your mind, feel free to drop them in the chat or in the comments, and we can go over it. For anybody who's new here, welcome to IndiesLIVE. This is where I answer your questions about anything that you might have bouncing around in your brain about your music marketing, about digital marketing this week, any issues that you might be coming across, questions that you've got about the training, anything that might pop into your head. We're just getting started. Plunk YB, what's up? We're just getting started now, so you jumped in just at the perfect time. Let me know your first name so I know how to address you by name. Greg, I'm glad you can hear me cool, man. I don't know if it's a new camera angle. It might be. I don't know. I moved my camera around a little bit today, taking some pictures of things. But cool! I'm stoked that everybody's here. Like I said, let me know what you guys are working on in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions as we're going through things. And I'll dive right in. I hope you guys are all having a good week. It's been a busy one here with a whole bunch of stuff happening. And yeah, so let's dive right into it. I'm going to jump into the questions here. First one from Carol. Carol says, hey, I haven't done much with ManyChat for a little while and was thinking to attack it again in the next couple weeks. I know some of the rules have changed, and I was wondering if you could update us on the new stuff. What's allowed in broadcast, what's not, etc. I have about 900 subscribers, and I haven't messaged them in a while. I got most of them while ManyChat was still really new. Also, what's the current opt-in situation with ManyChat? Are they still easy to get, or are people more reluctant now? Hey, Carol, great question, because there is a lot of changes happening with Facebook Messenger, yeah, there's a lot happening. So if you haven't hopped into ManyChat for a while, there might be some things that you're not used to seeing. So I can definitely share some ideas with you. Plunky, what's up? Natalie, what's going on? How you doing? How's your week so far? I'm stoked that you're here with me too. So to dive in, let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen with you guys to answer Carol's question about ManyChat and some of the things that are changing. So some of you guys are probably aware of the changes that are happening with Facebook Messenger and chatbot tools like ManyChat. Basically, one of the big changes is the API access that tools like ManyChat are now going to have to Facebook Messenger. So basically what Facebook is trying to do is to stop ManyChat and Messenger in general from being a one-to-many type of messaging tool. They're trying to really focus it in on being a one-to-one kind of conversational platform again. And a lot of this comes from people, abusing the platform. Just blowing out constant broadcasts of things that people don't really want to see under the guise of subscription messaging, which was something that originally, when ManyChat and tools like it were launched, it was something that was applied at the app level. So individual pages didn't need to have what Facebook is calling subscription approval for subscription messaging. It just happened at the app level, right within ManyChat. Or whatever chatbot tool you might be using. Now, what's been changing is within the past, I think the announcement initially came out like last September or something, that pages were going, the subscription messaging approval was going to start happening at the page level. And Facebook's been pushing back and pushing back and pushing back the deadline for when that was going to happen. And there was a lot of talk within the ManyChat community about if it was going to happen at all, when we were going to see the subscription messaging actually happen. And they finally settled on the 31st of July, which is coming up here in just a few days. And with that, a whole bunch of new tools showed up in the broadcast section of in the whole broadcast section of ManyChat. So I'm going to show you guys that so that Carol can check it out and hopefully have her question answered, and maybe it will give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's happening here. And I'm also going to link you some resources in the chat as well, so that you can do some diving in on your own. So let me share my screen with you for a second here. Oh God, let's get OBS out of the way. Okay, so when you're going to make a broadcast in ManyChat, once you've gotten to past the broadcast itself, where you're drafting it out, right? When you go to next, you'll see this new section that says content type, and this is similar to what it used to have in the back end of ManyChat, where you would go to send broadcast. It's just changed a little bit. You can see here there's a lot of disclaimers. The broadcast option below are subject to Facebook Messenger platform policy. Please familiarize yourself with it to ensure compliance. You can also learn more about broadcasting in ManyChat. There's a really good blog post here that I'm going to link this to you for you guys in the chat in a second here. I'll show it to you as well. This is what they're talking about when it comes to the platform changes that take place officially are going to start being enforced on the 31st of July. So you can see here there's a couple different content types that you need to know about. The first is subscriptional content. It says here, Facebook limits subscription content to 3 non-promotional use cases: news, productivity, and personal trackers. If the content does not match descriptions of the above, consider other types of broadcast below. So if we click this, just to show you guys a little bit more, subscription use cases: news, it's integrations, messages whose primary purpose is to inform people about recent or important events or provide information in categories such as sports, finance, business, real estate, weather, traffic, politics, government, nonprofit organizations, religion, celebrities, and entertainment. Productivity, primary purpose to enable people to manage their personal productivity with tasks such as managing calendar events, receiving reminders, and paying bills. And personal trackers, integrations that enable people to receive and monitor information about themselves in categories such as fitness, health, wellness, and finance. So what all of this means is, this used to be just, you could select subscription message, and because you were connected to ManyChat, your page was automatically approved for subscription messaging through the platform, because that's where the access happened. Now what's changed is that Facebook pages need to be approved for subscription content. Now I can tell you guys, it's been really interesting. We've been sending in subscription messaging requests to Facebook from a number of the artists at IndieX to be able to do this over the past few months, and none of the requests that I've sent in have gotten approved. And what you basically have to do is you have to give them Facebook an example of the kinds of messages that you're going to be sending and what the purpose is. Now, none of the requests that I've sent through have gotten approved, and I've been trying, different language, different ways of saying what I'm getting at here, different types of message examples to say things like, hey, I want to inform my subscribers about when I'm going live on Facebook, to let them know that I'm going to be live on the platform for your recurring media, for example. Or, something along the lines of, oh, when I premiere a new video on Facebook, I want my subscribers to know about it. And I've been working with a lot of different artists to try and get that through. So far, not a lot of luck. Now, I know I've seen indies in the group, in the Indies Facebook group, that have gotten subscription approval. A lot of them, or the ones that have, I'm curious to see if it was early on when subscriptions were just starting to come through and maybe the barrier was a little bit lower. But if you're curious about that, you can search the group and see what other people have gone and gotten away with. However, at this point in time, it's been really, really difficult to get approved for subscription content, because truthfully, by looking at these use cases, a lot of the messages that we send out really don't fall under subscription messaging in the same way that we're looking at here with news, productivity, personal trackers. So If you're not able to get approved for subscription messaging, what's going to happen is on the 31st of July is that this is going to disappear in ManyChat. It won't be there unless your page is approved. So there's a couple other categories that you need to look at here. Now, non-promotional content. This is an interesting one. These broadcasts don't contain promotions, so no sales, discounts, coupons, etc. And what you need to do is you need to assign a tag to it. And there's 16 categories that Facebook has set up. Just to show you what they are: business productivity, community alert, event reminder, confirmed event reminder, pairing update, account update, application update, payment update, personal finance update, shipping, reservation, issue resolution, so for something like support, appointment update, game event, transportation update, feature functionality update, or ticket update. So you can see a lot of these things are related to transactional support, the kinds of things that you might see happen on a one-to-one email channel if you're getting tech support, or if you're getting support with a product you ordered or something like that. Now, if you take a look here, if you click on help me decide on a tag, you can see a more detailed description of all of these things, these non-promotional content tags. Now, what's interesting is that Facebook does give us a new message tag suggestion button here, where if nothing that we're fitting or nothing that we're trying to send out fits any of these tags, we can suggest to Facebook different non-promotional use case tags that we would use. So I would highly recommend all of the indies, all of you guys that are watching this, if you can jump in here and start suggesting different non-promotional tags. It may be something along the lines of, live video update. And that could be something for your recurring media. And for your description here, your use case, you could say something along the lines of inform my subscribers about being live on the Facebook page or group that they follow, so that they can participate in a chat with me live on Facebook, or any other non-promotional type of tag that you think might be useful to you and your music. I would definitely go in here and try to make the platform better. There's a lot of people who are doing the same sort of thing in all sorts of industries, suggesting these sorts of non-promotional tags. So that's a quick overview of non-promotional content, those types of broadcasts. Promotional content. This one's obvious. It can contain promotions, but the target audience is limited to people who have interacted with your bot in the last 24 hours. So this is promotional content that you can send out within the 24 plus 1, or in the 24 plus 1 window. So promotional content, you can send that out here. And then follow-up, this is your plus 1. It can contain promotions and can be at any time, but is limited to subscribers who have not already received a follow-up message to your last message. Follow-up content is also limited to a single message. So you can see here when you select promotional content or when you select follow-up, the people that you're sending it to, the amount of people that you're sending it to within your broadcast list will show up here. You can see that in the top right corner. So that's a quick overview of promotional content and follow-up content that you can send out in your broadcast. And then the last is sponsored messages. Now this is using ManyChat ads connected to the Facebook ads platform to send out sponsored messages. So this could be promotional messages or otherwise. And I say or otherwise because for a lot of us, we're not falling under this subscription content. So a lot of what might be considered promotional to Facebook might not necessarily be considered promotional to us. For example, like going live on your page or something like that. That might fall under promotional in the cases that we're looking at right now. So you can use sponsored messages to put a little ad spend behind your broadcast, and you'll be able to send them out to the people on your subscriber list with no issue. So that's an overview of what you can see here in the back end of ManyChat, Carol, just to give you an idea, kind of what you're looking at as you dive into it and you're cracking into it for the first time. So The articles and resources that I wanted to share with you are this subscription messaging beta article here. This is just all about messenger platform policy. You can check that out to get an understanding of what the subscription messaging means, how you can go about applying for it if you want to try to apply for it. This broadcasting content article from ManyChat, which is really, really great. It's got a whole bunch of good info in it, going further into detail of the things that I talked about here. You can see the interface. Just a nice, helpful overview of everything broadcast related. And then again, the message tags for the non-promotional messaging. So I'm going to drop that in the chat here for you guys. So that you have it. Here is the broadcast message from ManyChat. Here is the messenger tag info. And here is platform policy from Facebook. So hopefully this was helpful to just give you an overview of what's happening in the back end of ManyChat when it comes to broadcasting and how that relates to Facebook Messenger's changes, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, what you can apply to be allowed to do, and how all of it functions. So that's an overview of that. Now with regards to opt-in situation in ManyChat, your second question, I can personally speak to a few cases at IndieX with regards to Messenger opt-ins still being really, really cheap. Opt-ins for content still, if you've got a big, warm enough audience, definitely it's still very cheap. People don't seem to be reluctant to it. I've seen that with regards to, bribes for, a secret piece of content, an opt-in for album launch. I've even seen it for like touring type opt-ins. I know I've covered some of that before in previous ground reports where we do like the location grabber type permission straight into ManyChat, straight into Messenger rather. So yeah, I definitely I feel that people are still pretty cool about opting into Messenger campaigns. They're definitely not getting reluctant, at least to my knowledge. So good stuff happening there. Hopefully that helps with your question, Carol. For your second one, Chris Cannon's vertical video, I'm glad you like it. The ad strategy behind that video, and was it successful in terms of marketing? That's a great question. To be honest, I don't really know the answer to it. That was a lot of what Cirque was working on. And let me just search the group real quick here, because I believe he dropped some information on it in the group. And I know that he's planning on sharing a whole bunch of details on what the ad strategy for that video was, and just a little bit more on the overall setup of it and how it's going. So I'm not going to step on his toes there and try to make sense of it, because he would definitely be able to explain it way better than I can since he's working in the trenches on it. But let's see in the group what he said. Oh, Carol, this was a post from you. So he'll definitely be going over it. But just to give you an overview, what Cirque said was the video was released on Chris's story in 10 to 15 second segments, and it was up on his Instagram story for a day. Then we saved the story as a highlight, and it was uploaded to his Instagram on the second grid that you can see on the profile. And then running ads on the video post to warm up to his warm audience, to some lookalikes and some interest-based audience, and then doing that for a few days, then releasing the video to YouTube and Facebook, and now running it as a fan finder. So far, it sounds like it's going pretty well. Cirque mentioned that he's been getting requests for features for booking and meetings, so good stuff so far. That's about as far as I can take you on the journey of that video campaign, but I'm sure Cirque will have some more details on it as it's continuing along and probably give a really in-depth overview. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, but hopefully a little recap was helpful. I remember when he first was working on that video and he showed it to me. This was a couple months ago, when it was first in the processes. And I was just like, man, this is so cool. It's such a cool concept. So anyway, hopefully that helps. So I'm going to dive into some of the other questions here. Okay. Robert said, "Hi, Jack. I'm wondering what a fair price for an EP is if I'm selling it as my main product following an album experience. It has 7 songs, 2 of those are exclusive bonus tracks, and it's signed. Since I'm using ClickFunnels and the shirt is the upsell, people can only buy a shirt if they first buy a CD. Is this still the best way to go? Thanks, Robert." Cool. Great question, Robert. That's a really good question. So I would say, as far as a fair price goes, I mean, it sounds like you're stacking a lot of value on that EP, and I think that's really what you need to focus on when it comes to pricing things out in your funnel, whether it's an EP or whether it's a full-length album, whether it's a vinyl, whatever it might be. I think what really allows you to justify higher prices is all the different sorts of value that you can stack on it. So you mentioned a couple things: exclusive bonus tracks, it's going to be signed, it has 7 songs. So I definitely wouldn't price it like you find an album on iTunes where it's like $1 per track. That's crazy. Your margins will be nothing. I think a good starting point to think about might be, between like $12 and $15. And what you can do is think about other ways that you can add value onto this. Is it an EP that they're only going to be able to get within the experience? Can you number the different ones? Is there a limited number of them? Are you only printing 100? Or even if you're planning to print more later, are you printing this first limited run? Is it just going to be 100? Can you do a variation of the album art so that people know that this is something special? Maybe you can include a handwritten thank you note. I'm trying to give you as many ideas as I can that you can really use to up the value of what this means. You're signing it, so if you could number it too, there you go. People are getting an offer that's specifically theirs. No one will ever be able to get that unique CD ever again. So just some things to think about there, but I think if you could probably price it around like $15. And if you can add more stuff to it, by all means, you should. If you're planning on doing some touring, adding on that it's like a VIP upgrade where people can hang out with you. You could get even more creative about that kind of thing. Maybe it acts as like a golden ticket where after a show in their city, you have like an after show hangout where you guys grab beers or something like that. I don't know, whatever you like to do, or even a pre-show hangout. You get a cup of coffee, you bring them back into the green room. There's a lot of things that you could do to really make your core offer super duper valuable and beyond just that of a CD. I think you've got some good ideas there already, but I think the more that you can add on to it, the more that you can justify a higher price. So I definitely would encourage you to do so. But if you're curious about some ideas, I think with what you were saying there, and maybe some of this stuff that I was talking about, in just how you craft your sales page, $15 I think would be perfectly reasonable. I've seen EPs sell for $12 with just some scarcity around them and having them signed. So I think you could definitely ramp up the price if you can stack on some more value to it. So hopefully that helps you. And good stuff with all of your album launch. I know you've been really working towards it for a while now. So kudos to you for keeping on with it. He also said, since I'm using ClickFunnels and the shirt is the upsell, people can only buy a shirt if they first buy the CD. Yeah, that's a great way to go. Structuring the upsell that way. I would also recommend, if you can, having some sort of order bump, a lower ticket order bump right on your checkout page, or your order form rather, just to help increase that cart value. If you want to send people, after the fact who maybe didn't purchase, the opportunity to get the t-shirt, maybe the CD just wasn't the right thing for them, but you think the T-shirt might be, and you want to send them a follow-up offer. You could always set up a separate sales page just for that, and maybe give them a discount or something. I've definitely seen that done before. So if you want to have the ability to make a follow-up offer to people who didn't buy the CD and you think a shirt might be the right thing to do, you definitely can do that. But in terms of how you're structuring out your checkout funnel, yeah, you're right on track. It's perfect. Good stuff. So hopefully that helps. Greg said, I'm currently running Greenlight Boost video views to Facebook and Instagram promoting an August 10th show. Event responses to anyone who views that 75% or more. How do I improve it? Here's the video view campaign, and here's the event response with copy. Currently reaches like 62 on the event response with only 2 clicks, 115 per response. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to pull this up and share my screen. All right, cool. So here's the video from Greg. Saturday, August 10th at Mercury Lounge in High Watt. Tickets are on sale now. Cool video. And then event response with copy. Hey, it's QE. Stop. Gotcha. Cool. So a couple ideas for you, Greg. I assume you're running the video views campaign in your radius of what is this? Nashville. In the radius of Nashville. So a couple ideas for you to help get some more volume in front of that event responses campaign. Since it seems like the reach is a little low with what you're working with right now, when you're running the video in front of it first, you could bump down to 25% video views. So those people aren't quite as warm, but gives you a little bit more volume in your retargeting. So that's one thing you could do. One thing to think about there, you could bump that down a little bit. You also could just go straight for event responses at this point to your warm audience, your Greenlight warmth in Nashville. So rather than doing like a video ad funnel, you could just go straight to event responses. A lot of times that's what I'll end up doing if I feel like I'm not getting enough on the front end of like a video views campaign. In a particular area, try going straight for event responses and see if you can shake out some people that way. I think some of it depends on what you're seeing as far as frequency on the first top of funnel part to your warm audience. If that video is getting, if it's getting a lot of views on it and you're still not getting people into the second stage of retargeting, you might want to just shoot straight for event responses. So something to think about there. Let me see what you said here in the chat. Yes, I'm sending to Greenlight Boost for Nashville DMA. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. So I think it might be, you're coming up on what? A little bit more than 2 weeks leading up to the show. So a couple things you might want to try is one, like I said, running straight to your warm audience with event responses. Rather than going for video views and then retargeting for event responses, you might want to just hit them with event responses right up. You could still use this video. I would throw in a couple different creative variations. Maybe have a video of you talking right here to the camera. Since some of those people have already seen this video, likely at this point, you even say that here. You've seen this vid by now. So doing, kind of like a talking head style video, inviting them to the show, maybe holding up the flyer, and just kind of refreshing the creative. I think that could help. But I think at this point, like, getting volume on the event responses campaign is going to be the best thing you can do. So I think to do that, like I said, shooting right for your warm audience to event responses would be one thing that I would try. You could also try running some fan finder traffic just to the area, and then retargeting that into fan finder traffic to cold audiences, and then retargeting that into your event responses campaign. That's another thing that you can do if you've got some budget to do it. But I think in terms of order of operations, what I would do is I'd go straight for event responses to your warm audience. If you still want to continue with the video ad funnel idea, I would say try to get more volume into it by bumping it down to some of the lower percentage audiences, so that you have some more bulk in there. And hopefully that will get you on track. And then just doing some different creatives, I think that will help just to keep things fresh, keep people excited about it. You could even do some countdown type creatives. That could be pretty interesting. But hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Happy to give you any other ideas that I might have. Let's see here. Go back to live. There we go. All right, I'm just refreshing the page so that I can see what you guys are saying here. All right. Comments are not coming up. Just give me a moment here, guys. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's try this again. In the meantime, Greg said, so I'm going to change and send that video to cold Nashville DMA, change event response to green light boost in Nashville without the retarget, and then add another video. Yeah, I think that might be a good starting place. I don't know about the changing that video to cold Nashville DMA. You could definitely try it. But I think your fan finder might do a better way might do better to catch the attention of a cold audience that's actually interested, rather than a video where they might not really know what this is all about. You know what I mean? So something to think about there. But yeah, I think that you're on the right track, Greg. That sounds good. Jeff, I'm trying to get to your comment, man. I saw it, but my comments aren't refreshing, which is a huge pain in the butt. Just give me a second. What is going on with the internet today? Sorry guys, forgive my delay here. All of the comments aren't showing up for me right now, and I don't really know why. I'm gonna jump out of the watch page for a second and see if we can make it better. Fingers crossed. Yes. All right. We got it. Cool. Jeff said, would love for you to have a look at my permission stage marketing asset. Anything I should tweak to make it more effective. Also worth saying that it was working out at about 5 to 10 per sign up. Wondered if my audience wasn't warm enough. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd be happy to take a look. Let me just look at the comments real quick here. That kind of falls under an audit, so let me just make sure that I'm answering questions here. Plunky said, are there guidelines for social media assets that would indicate when I should use your fan finder album launch training myself versus contracting you guys to do the Facebook/social media campaigns? Also, do you think the IndieX methodologies can work for Afro, jazz, funk, or other niche genres? Hey, Plunky, that's a great question, man. Generally speaking, IndieX is a service that is really meant for artists that are beyond the grassroots stage. And the reason for that is because it's difficult to get to a place with a small or non-existent audience if you're starting from scratch, to get you to a place where it makes sense to pay someone else to run your launch for you, your album launch, for example, or your marketing in general. It's hard to get to a place to recoup the cost of doing that. I mean, all of this is a challenge, right? Running campaigns yourself that get you to break even and profitable it's challenging, let alone when you're paying somebody else to do so. So for that reason, a lot of times we'll recommend for grassroots artists that they work through campaigns themselves. A lot of the artists that we have on board at IndieX are former label artists, are artists that have they're working with a team, they're working with investors. We've got some legacy artists on board, and then indies that are past the grassroots level stage, and they've got a customer base, and they're making consistent revenue through that. That it makes sense for them to work with us at IndieX, so that they can work to maximize those assets. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, with regards to your question about niche genres, yeah, definitely. I think that the fan finder strategy in particular works really well to help you find the audiences that you're looking for. That's really, I mean, I sound like a weird broken record saying that, but it's true. With the fan finder, you can really narrow down into finding the types of people that are going to resonate with your brand of music, your style, specifically like the art that you're putting out there in the genre that you're putting it out in. So I definitely would recommend trying it out and seeing what's out there. It works for genres of all kinds. I've seen fan finders blow up for jazz artists. I've seen them work really well for instrumental artists. And there's definitely a lot of inspiration in the indies group along styles that I didn't even know existed. So I would say take a peek in there. You can do a search bar for a search in the search bar for just fan finders, and you'll likely find a lot of stuff and a lot of inspiration. I would say dive into that fan finder targeting worksheet too, and really working to narrow in your influences and hone in on that in that Afro jazz kind of style, funk kind of style. The more you can find that, and the more you can sort of work around in your brain the types of artists that you think, the types of fans that like the types of artists that you think would be similar to you, you'll be on your way to blowing it up with a really solid fan finder. So yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. Let me know. Kev said, question, how do you guys do your tagging in your YouTube videos? What's the difference between tagging in descriptions and the tagging field? Thanks. Cool. Good question, Kev. The tagging field, so tagging in descriptions is, speaking of tagging, Carol just tagged me in a post in the Indies group. Tagging in your tagging field is related to search terms, so keywords. So for example, I'm looking at the back end of YouTube here at our Death of a Website video. And that's where, you know, if people are Google or YouTube searching for death of a website, creative juice, podcast, full stack creative, these are some of our things that people would search for. Entrepreneur, artist websites, that might be something that somebody's searching for. Artist website tips, artist website design, artist website platforms. So these are all keyword related, keywords that people will be searching for. So that's where tagging in the basic info section goes. So that's where you're really looking to put some of your keywords in there, and then including those keywords in your description is also going to help. Obviously, this is a different kind of setup than what an artist might be doing, because you're not going to be tagging your music videos, for example, with artist websites or creative juice podcast. But if you're doing, you know, a cover, for example, of, like, I don't know, a Justin Bieber song or something, you may include tags that say Justin Bieber cover, or Justin Bieber song title acoustic, if you're doing like an acoustic cover or something like that. So these are all examples of ways that you can kind of work in those keywords that people might be searching for, and then you can take some of those keywords, and if you can tactfully put them into your description, into the description of your video, that can help out as well. So yeah, just kind of a quick overview for you there. Sir could probably go deeper into specifically what we're doing on our YouTube channel. That's kind of his domain with a lot of the YouTube stuff. You can repeat those keywords in the two areas. That's okay to do that for sure. So yeah, hopefully that helps you, man. And it's a good question. Maybe Sir can follow up on some specifics of what he's doing and what his thought process is when going through that. But that's kind of my quick overview for you of just quick implementations that you can use. Hopefully it helps you. And let me see in the comments here. Oh, Jeff, cool. Let's dive into your permission stage asset real quick and see what you got going on. Oh, Jeff raises a really good point. If you can fit your keywords into your title as well, that's super duper helpful in being able to do it. So if you have a keyword that you can fit in there, and let me look at this video. This video that we were just looking at, death of websites, obviously is the title of the video. So it's in the description and it's in the tags. So yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeff. Good stuff. Kev, no problem, man. Happy to help and glad that you're here. Let's look. Oh, gosh darn it. I refreshed the page and lost the comments again. Okay, give it a second. So let me know, what else are you guys working on this week? I know Greg's working on his show ads. Plunky, what are you working on? Are you diving into Fan Finder? It sounds like. Natalie, I know some of the stuff that you're working on. And Jeff, it looks like you're working on permission campaign stuff, so I'm super amped to check that out. But yeah, let me know what you guys are working on. I'm curious to hear. Kev, what are you working on right now? You know me, I love to always get in your minds, get some inspiration. These Indies Lives are great for that. Let's drop this page again, because the interwebs doesn't like me today. Okay, gonna give it a minute to refresh. Did it work? Yes. All right, cool. Now on to Jeff's permission stage asset. Let's take a look here. Let's share the screen. Dope. Cool video, it looks like. Can we look at the post so that I can see comments? Okay, this is fine. Facebook watch. Alright, let me take a listen to this.
this month. So click down below to sign up.
Let's get this playing.
Music, I really do appreciate you taking the time to stop and listen. If you like what you've heard so far, you should definitely join my Tea Break Club. I'm sending out a free CD of exclusive and unheard tracks to everyone who signs up this month. So click down below.
Click down below what? Click down below what, internet? I want to hear the video! Come on. I don't know what's happening today.
Time to stop and listen. If you like what you've heard so far, you should definitely join my Tea Break Club. I'm sending out a free CD of exclusive and unheard tracks to everyone who signs up this month. So click.
Man, I just can't catch a break today. Oh, someone got their CD here. This is cool. I like the idea of a tea break club, Jeff.
Exclusive and unheard tracks
cool.
to everyone who signs up this month. So click down below to sign up. The Tea Break Club is my way of connecting with you, my listeners, my musical family, if you will. You'll get a weekly digest on a Monday morning, hopefully around the time when you're having your tea or coffee break. You'll be first to know about any offers, and of course there'll be exclusive stuff for tea breakers. So go and sign up. Help yourself to a slice of this unreleased music.
Cool, man. This is a really neat permission campaign. I definitely dig it. I know you said that you're getting opt-ins for around $5 to $10, which is a little expensive. Some ideas for you here. Now I can't see what this looks like in the news feed because I'm seeing it on Facebook Watch. But a couple ideas for you here, and if you want, shoot me the link for the opt-in page. I'd love to take a look at it. But you wouldn't want to miss out on a free CD, would you? Get your free CD of secret songs. I'm not sure if that's the full copy of your ad, but some ideas for you. Some ideas for you would be to expand out this copy, make it a little longer form. What you're talking about in the video is super, super cool, and I think if you let get your copy to reflect that, you can do so. You wouldn't want to miss out on a free CD. It's not the most compelling copy. It's not really calling people to anybody. Not really calling people to anything in particular besides the fact that they're getting a free CD. But I think talking about the experience of being in this Tea Breakers Club, I think expanding upon that in your copy is going to be what's going to get people to sign up. So I would suggest going into that. Let me see if you said anything in the notes here. Building my list, but doing an album launch for the 13th of August, so hoping to change the permission stage from free CD to get the album early approach. Gotcha. Cool. I see what you're going for here then. Jeff, let me know if let me know in your in the chat here what if you can drop me the link for your opt-in page, because I can't get to it. Copy link, maybe that will work.
It could all be yours.
Yeah, shoot me the link if you can. Maybe your audience isn't warm enough. It may also be that you just don't have a big enough warm audience yet. And some of that depends on how long you've been running FanFinder, how long you've been working at this stuff. So you may want to just get more bulk in that audience, continuing to run some more FanFinder traffic to really get some people in there. Oh, I'm an idiot. Here's the here's the link, bit.ly/tbreakclub. Join the Tea Break Club, and I'll send you a free CD of secret songs. I'll send you a form to get your postal address once you're signed up. Cool, cool, cool. Marketing permissions. Cool. This is cool, man. I think like expanding upon all of what you were talking about in the video and putting that both into your copy in the ad and your copy in the copy in your sales or your opt-in page here is really going to be what's going to sell people into what this is, because it's cool that they're getting a free CD of secret songs. That's a cool idea. And you know, that's something that you could run as like a free plus shipping and handling funnel too down the line. But I think, you know, really stressing what else this is going to be, getting the weekly tea break digest or whatever it was that you called it. A lot of that is really, really, I think really, really cool, and this is a cool kind of experiential idea. So I think really spelling that out in the copy and on your opt-in page here is gonna help more so than just giving people a CD of secret songs. That's a cool perk for sure. But I think making it more about like the experience and everything you were talking about in the video, your energy just really came out there. So take that same energy and apply it to your copy, and you'll be golden, man. It's really, really cool. But you said I tried dynamic creative initially, and that was the ad that turned up on top. Gotcha. Cool. I've been doing an education funnel for the last 24 hours or so just to try that out. Cool. Yeah, I gotcha, man. I think that a lot of times when people work to run opt-in campaigns, one of the biggest challenges that I think I see is underestimating just how much of a warm retargeting audience you should focus on having. The bigger and bulkier that you can get that to be, the better. So depending on how long you've been running FanFinder, and how long you've been doing this whole thing, how long you've been working on this project, I think that, like I said, the more you can bulk up that audience and get those people warmed up, the better, and you're going to see your cost per lead go down, just because Facebook is going to have more people to show the ads to. More people are going to be into it because more people are interacting with you on the front end. So really working that top of funnel is important. So those would be like the two areas of optimization that I would look at if I were you. Is one, really diving in and saying, okay, how many people are really in this audience that I'm advertising to try and get these opt-ins, and then along with that, how can I optimize my opt-in ads and my opt-in page? I think doing those two things, and you've got so much of like a cool idea in the video. I think like I said, taking that and translating it to your copy is gonna put you in a great spot. So those would be the two areas of looking that I would do. Tips on parameters for the custom audience. I mean, like I said, it kind of depends on how long you've been running stuff for and how well your fan finder was doing. But I would say, depending on who you were retargeting this with, it may make sense. Like, for example, if you were targeting 75% video viewers, if you're, you know, kind of at the grassroots stage here and you're needing to get more volume into this, bumping down to those 25 or 50% video views might be a good way to do it. Yeah, they may not be as engaged as people who are watching 75% of your fan finder, but doing that may help. So including those folks in that all warm audience that we're talking about, that we go over in Ultimate Album Launch, would definitely be a good thing to start with. Oftentimes, actually almost all the time, when I'm building out an opt-in campaign, that's my first place to start, is just building out an all warm audience of page engagement, Instagram engagement, fan finder video viewers. A lot of times I'm working with 75%, but like I said, you can move it down to 25, 50% video views, and building that all into one website traffic, building that all into one big bulky warm audience, and starting there. I would say that would be the direction that I would take it if you're not already there. Actually, this would be good if you're really diving into this more and more, bringing this stuff to an audit session, and going a little bit deeper into it in that kind of IndiesLIVE would probably be helpful as well. Let me see what you said here. I've done Fan Finder since last summer. Gotcha. So you've been doing this for a little bit. That's good. I'm guessing a lot of those early viewers will now be cold. I got 2 or 3 really well-primed Fan Finders with 60K views plus. Cool. I've switched them on recently, so I'm guessing I could do the last 14 days approach. Yeah, so you definitely could do the last 14 days types of retargeting with like a reach campaign. That would be definitely a great way to pick up some of the low-hanging fruit that's been coming in over the past few days. But with what you were saying about, you've been doing this for a while, you've been running Fan Finder traffic for quite some time, I think what might help you is just working on tweaking your copy at your ad level, or your ad copy. Man, I'm all sorts of messed up today thinking about the ads manager. Tweaking your ad copy and tweaking your opt-in page copy. That would probably be, knowing what I know now, that would probably be where I would start, and seeing if you can bring down your cost per lead that way. So that's what I would look at. Hopefully that helps. But good stuff, man. Like I said, I really, really like the idea. I think it's a neat kind of permission campaign. I don't know if you've checked out the ground report that I did a few months ago on permission campaigns, but I did an IndiesLIVE ground report where we were talking about a lot of this sort of stuff, and the types of permission campaigns we can run apart from just Ultimate Album Launch. And this is a great example of the types of creativity that I was talking about trying to get into when you're thinking about these campaigns. So good on you, man. I really dig it. The podcast you did on copy a couple months back probably started my journey with it. Really appreciate it. Hey, man, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Cirque and I had a really good time recording that episode. It was super, super fun. Cool. So I hope this helps. Hey, I appreciate you guys jumping in with me. This was a ball. It's always a good time to hang out with you guys and talk over what you're working on and get an idea of what's happening in your worlds. Hopefully everything that we talked about here today was helpful and gets you guys on track for what you're working on for the rest of the week. We've got some cool stuff happening here, both at IndieX, and everything else going on at Indiepreneur is super, super fun. We're going into Merch and Fulfillment Month on the podcast. And there's going to be a lot of good stuff happening there. Cirque and Corinne are going to be covering a bunch of really great ground. So if you guys are at all interested in that stuff, the merchant fulfillment side of things, definitely tune in. But until next time, I appreciate all your awesome questions, and I appreciate you guys sharing with me what you're working on. Thanks for being rad, and I'll catch y'all soon. Take it easy and have a good rest of the week.